Hello, I'm going to show my audience real quick. I am. Okay. Hi everybody, how's it going? Good. Not too bad myself. A little deep in thought. I want to make sure I can give close to decent justice to something that's really a really serious issue. I don't know if I can convey the message where it needs conveyed, and it's a big task. I'm gonna do the best I can to do it, but it's something that's so serious and so affecting to all of us that I hope I give it justice. And what I'm talking about is mandatory sentences on not just simply violent offenders, drug offenders as well. There's mandatory sentences for all kinds of offenders in this world. And there's a problem. And the problem is even if you're sitting here and you think to yourself right now, well, I don't have any immediate family that's in prison, that's doing time for anything, you might start walking out of here because you don't see its effect. Well, it does affect. Please allow me a few minutes, an opportunity to show you, because even if I don't convey it the way I feel about this, I believe I can convey it enough to where you understand it. And most of us, I know myself, when I understand something, it's harder to ignore it. When I see the role that I have in things, I can't just ignore it. And I don't really expect most of you guys in the audience can just simply do that, because it's not the way we're brought up. Okay, so let me run through a couple examples of some really harsh sentences that don't make much sense because of this mandatory sentencing. Mandatory sentencing doesn't allow a judge to view it on the merits of a case. And things like this happen. And I left the names out because the names aren't the real importance here. The real importance is the issue and the example that I'm going to present to you. With that disparity gone, here's a couple. A man got 50 years without parole for theft of 9 videotapes because of mandatory sentencing. 50 years. There was a man, he was sentenced for arson on a royal dockyard. Mandatory death. They executed him. 55 years for possession of a handgun while a man sold $350 worth of marijuana. Okay? President Obama, because of these disparities, you see Trump just had a famous one related with the Kardashian West. Brought to his attention. Trump does the right thing, does the pardon or commutes the sentence. President Obama pardoned 212 people. 1,715 he commuted their sentence. Almost all, the majority of these people, was because of the mandatory laws and inhumane, cruel, and unusual punishment these sentences do. Okay, think. So if Obama, 2,000 people, that's not all of them. Don't think for a moment, oh, he fixed them all. There's justice in this country, that's good. Because he didn't. But he did correct 2,000. How many people had kids of those 2,000? How many people had a wife? A lot of you have kids. When your kids go to school and they're around another kid who's going through these issues, don't think your kid's not affected. When there's two kids around another kid, they're 70% more likely to engage in the behavior of the other. So it's called social pressure, peer pressure. We all relate to peer pressure. Well, you could be a first-time offender and get a mandatory 10, 20-year sentence. First-time offender. You don't just walk away from that a mistake, you're rehabilitated. Your kids don't just walk away from that. There is no reason to continue in America with this, because it was designed so people wouldn't reoffend because they know the sentence they're going to get, the amount of time. It was designed with drugs to get low-level end users to give up the high end. The original mandatory sentence, I believe, was 1951, and then it really took off in the 80s. And it hasn't went down. If it's the solution to crime, why is 5% of the prison population in the world from America? We've all heard, well, I have, I'll speak for myself, I've heard these jokes, growing up. Oh, you don't want to end up in a Mexican prison. You are more likely to go to prison in the United States of America than in Mexico. Your odds of going to prison are higher. And another factor is, how do other countries in this world look at America? Do they look at it as, oh heck, stay away from America? Look how, if there's that many people in prison, think of how the crime rate is. Is that how you feel about your country? Is that how you feel about your community? I don't. I think we live in one of the greatest country in this world. I also see that we hand out the most injustice. Another issue, TV lately, that everybody can relate to is, breaking up the families of the immigrants. Okay, that's headlines. That's a real deal. That's a real concern. And I'm with it because it's real damage. These mandatory sentences, with no disparity to a judge, that's every day in this country. That's every day. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. It doesn't affect me. It does affect you. It affects all of us. It affects our communities. And not a lot of people are willing to do anything about it, because what can I do about it? You can care, and you can care enough to sign a petition. You can care enough about other people to help this change. Our court system runs with juries. Okay, and you got to run through a whole series of questions, to see if you're even able to, sit on a jury. Well, if the world starts understanding what we're doing to people, I don't believe the United States of America, this country, can sit there and let it happen. They will have to select people that don't know nothing about anything, pure ignorance. Because if we care enough to just sign those petitions to tell people this ain't right, to address the issue rather than just like the people that wanted to walk up out of here because they didn't see the relevance in this speech to them. This affects everybody. This affects me. This affects your kids, your grandparents. This affects other people that aren't even our country. I don't want to ignore it, and I hope that you guys will care enough to sign a petition, to write these letters, to not destroy people's lives for no reason. Crime deserves a punishment that's equal to what you do. Crime doesn't just deserve, you don't not look at the merits of the case and just throw somebody's life away, throw somebody's dad away, throw somebody's mom away. I don't believe we throw anybody away in this country. At all. That is my beliefs. I don't know if I could even possibly convey to you guys the way that I feel about this subject, because, I mean, it eats at me. It completely eats at me. And if I could just get a little bit of that sent to you guys, where tonight when you hit that pillow, you toss and turn just a little bit, then I can see some change happening. And we need to change. This needs to stop. I hope everybody, take a little bit of that home with you tonight. I pray that you do, because it ain't right. Thank everybody for coming in. Thank you. See you, class.